Hello friends, in this video I'll discuss about the basis of classification and इस basis of classification के अंदर मैं बहुत सारे फीचर्स को डिस्कस करूँगी। वो सारे फीचर्स इतने इम्पॉर्टेंट होंगे कि आप जब पढ़ेंगे और जब आप क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करेंगे तो यू विल बी सरप्राइज कि ऐसे भी टॉपिक होते हैं और ऐसे भी क्वेश्चंस पूछे जाते हैं। जो लोग नीट या फिर एम्स और जिपमेर का प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हैं, जो ओलंपियाड का प्रिपरेशन कर रहे हैं, उनको सारे कैरेक्टर्स का डेफिनेशन, सारे कैरेक्टर्स का एग्जाम्पल्स और वो कैरेक्टर किस फाइलम में शुरू हुआ, ये बहुत इम्पॉर्टेंट है। आप कंपटीशन देने जा रहे हैं, कॉम्पिटिटिव एग्ज़ाम देने जा रहे हैं, इसलिए सिर्फ मेन वर्ड को याद रखना इम्पोर्टेंट नहीं है। आपको उस पूरी लाइन को ध्यान से सुनना होगा, पूरी लाइन को ध्यान से समझना होगा और हर लाइन में एक की वर्ड होता है, वही की वर्ड क्वेश्चन बनता है। तो इसलिए बायो में आपको हर लाइन को ध्यान से पढ़कर समझना होगा और समझकर अपने माइंड में स्टोर करना होगा और स्टोर करने के बाद उसको यूज़ भी करना होगा। ये यूज़ क्या होगा? जब आप क्वेश्चन सॉल्व करेंगे। तो सिर्फ पढ़ना और समझना और स्टोर करना एनफ नहीं है, आपको क्या करना है, उसको यूज़ करना है। इट मीन्स कि आपको क्वेश्चंस भी सॉल्व करने हैं। इस वीडियो के अंत में मैं कुछ क्वेश्चंस डिस्कस करूँगी। मेरे आंसर देने के पहले अगर आपने आंसर दे दिया तो समझ जाइए कि आपकी स्टोरिंग कैपेसिटी और आपकी अप्लाइंग कैपेसिटी दोनों वंडरफुल है। और अगर आप नहीं दे पाते हैं आंसर पहले, इट मीन्स कि आपको थोड़ा और ध्यान देकर वीडियो को सुनना होगा, वीडियो को याद करना होगा, वीडियो को समझना होगा। क्लियर? सो लेट्स स्टार्ट। ओके, सो बेसिस ऑफ क्लासिफिकेशन में बहुत सारे कैरेक्टर्स होते हैं। उन सारे कैरेक्टर्स के बेसिस पे हम डिफरेंशिएट करते हैं। क्लियर? सो पहला कैरेक्टर है लेवल ऑफ ऑर्गेनाइजेशन। क्लियर? सेकेंड वन इज पैटर्न्स ऑफ डाइजेस्टिव, सर्कुलेटरी और रिप्रोडक्टिव सिस्टम। थर्ड इज बॉडी सिमेट्री। फोर्थ इज नंबर ऑफ जर्म लेयर्स। Fifth character is nature of coelom. Coelom is also called body cavity. Sixth is presence or absence of segmentation in the body. And seventh is presence or absence of notochord. And this topic is very, very important for your examination point of view. Clear? So please pay attention. Please listen the video very nicely, very clearly. Now, so let's start level of organization. Organization means an orderly arrangement. We know that cell is the building block of body of all living organisms. Many specialized cells organize to form tissue, and tissue organized to form what? Organ organized to form what? Organ system, and finally many organ system organized to form an organism. So on the basis of how cells are arranged in the body of animals, following 4 levels of organization seen in the animals. Clear? So the first level is cellular level of organization. Second is tissue level of organization. Third is organ level of organization. Fourth is organ system level of organization. So let's begin with the cellular level of organization. You know that cells are the basic unit of structure. It performs vital functions of an organism. The cells are arranged as loose cell aggregates, but they do not form any tissue. Some division of labor occurs among the cells. And this cellular level of organization exhibited by which phylum? Poriferans. This is very important. Which phylum? In which phylum you will find the cellular level of organization? Poriferans. Clear? Now, the next is tissue level of organization. This level is somewhat higher and complex to cellular level, in which the cells performing the same function or structure and are arranged to form tissues. And this level of organization first seen in what? Coelentrates and ctenophores. Okay. Now, next is organ level of organization. When tissues are grouped together to form organs, this level is formed. Means level of organ level of organization. And this organ level of organization is seen in which phylum? Platyhelminthes. Clear? Next is the organ system level of organization. In higher animals, organs are associated to form functional systems, and each system concerned with a specific physiological function. Clear? Like for example, various organs like stomach, intestine, gallbladder, pancreas, they all what unite to form which system? Digestive system. Clear? So different organ system depend upon each other to maintain the functioning of an organism. If one system get affected, then what happen? The other system also get affected. Clear? And this level is exhibited by exclemanthes to chordates. Okay. Now, the next character is a pattern of complexities of various organ system. And first we will discuss about the digestive system. The digestive system of animals can be of two types on the basis of complexity. So the first is incomplete digestive system. When the digestive system has only a single opening to the outside of the body, and that single opening serves as both mouth and anus, then such type of digestive system is called incomplete digestive system. And this is present in which phylum? Coelentrates, ctenophores and Platyhelminthes. Clear? Second one is complete digestive system. It's very clear by the name that when the digestive system has two openings, mouth and anus, then it is called as complete digestive system. Here the entry of food and exit of waste takes place from separate openings, and this is present from the exclemanthes to the chordates. Okay. Now the next topic under this heading is circulatory system. Circulatory system also of two types: open circulatory system and closed circulatory system. In open type of in this open circulatory system, body cells and tissues are in direct contact with the blood. Clear? They are in direct contact with the blood, means there is a direct contact and exchange of materials between the blood and the body cells. Clear? And this is present in which phylum? So this is present in the phylum arthropods, non-cephalopods, mollusks, hemichordates and tunicates. Clear? Next is the closed circulatory system. The best example of closed circulatory system is what? Chordates, or we can say our body. In our body, which type of circulatory system is present? Closed circulatory system. So it's very clear. You must have studied also that blood circulates through a series of the blood vessels. Clear? Blood vessels in our body. And which are the examples of this? Annellates, cephalopods, mollusks and chordates. Okay, so non-cephalopod mollusk exhibit, means in non-cephalopod mollusk open type of circulatory system is present, and in cephalopod mollusk closed type of circulatory system is present. Clear? Now the third characteristic is reproductive system. Lower animals like sponges, coelentrates undergo asexual reproduction along with the sexual reproduction, while in higher animals sexual reproduction becomes the predominating mode of reproduction. Now let's start body symmetry. Before discussing about symmetry in detail, let's discuss few terms which is used in symmetry. So first is axis. Axis is an imaginary straight line passing through the center of the body, like longitudinal axis, transverse axis, etc. And the next is plane. Plane means a flat surface which divides the body into corresponding halves. Like longitudinal planes divide the body into right and left halves or front and back halves, whereas transverse planes divide it. It means body in upper and lower halves. Now, types of body symmetry. On the basis of body symmetry, animals can be asymmetric, radially or bilaterally symmetric. So, let's discuss first asymmetric. When any plane passing through the center does not divide the body into equal halves, the organism is said to be asymmetric. And asymmetric you will find in what? Sponges. Yes, most of the sponges are asymmetrical, although some are radially symmetrical also. Next is radially symmetric. When any plane passing through the central axis of the body divides the organism into two identical halves, it is called radial symmetry, and the organism possessing it are called radially symmetric. For example, some sponges, coelenterate, ctenophores, adult echinoderms. Radially symmetric animals are mostly cylindrical in shape, and the central axis is longitudinal in their body. The surface of body bearing mouth is called oral surface, and opposite surface is called aboral surface. Most of them are attached to the substratum. We have discussed substratum means what? Solid support. Yes, by the aboral surface are called sessile. Radial symmetry is advantageous for a sessile existence as it helps the animal to gather food from all sides and also to repel enemies from all sides. Now, the third is bilaterally symmetric. When the body can be divided into identical left and right halves in only one plane, it is called bilateral symmetry, and the animals possessing this type of symmetry are called bilaterally symmetric. First phylum of animal kingdom to exhibit bilateral symmetry is Platyhelminthes. This is very important. Means bilateral symmetry started from which phylum? Platyhelminthes. And it is characteristics of the most successful and higher animals including Platyhelminthes, Aschelminthes, annelids, arthropods, mollusks, hemichordates and chordates. Bilateral symmetry arose when animals on the ocean floor became mobile. A crawling animal is most likely to encounter food with the end that goes ahead. So, mouth is developed at this end. And if mouth is there means what? All sense organs should also be there that help the animal to catch what? Food. And this type of system is called as what? Cephalization. Clear? So, in this head enclosing the brain became associated with the mouth end, and it helps the animal to catch food. Clear? To encounter food. Now, next is the germ layers. Ectoderm, mesoderm and endoderm are the germ layers which arise during the embryo formation. These layers give rise to all the tissues, organs of the fully formed individuals. Depending upon the number of germ layers in the embryo, the animals can be diploblastic, triploblastic. Clear? So, first let's discuss about the diploblastic. Those animals in which the developing embryo has only two germinal layers, that is an external ectoderm and an internal endoderm, are called diploblastic animal. means which layer is not present in the diploblastic animal? Mesoderm. Clear? Mesoderm is not present, and mesoderm is undifferentiated jelly-like layer. Mesoglia is present between the ectoderm and endoderm. Clear? So in diploblastic, mesoderm is not present, and in some cases if something is present, then that is the jelly-like layer, that is called the mesoglia. Clear? This mesoglia is called undifferentiated because this layer is not specialized to form any particular tissue or organ of the body. Clear? And this diploblastic is present in coelentrates and ctenophores. Clear? So all coelentrates and ctenophores are diploblastic in nature. Now the next is triploblastic. Those animals in which the developing embryo has also the third germinal layer, and what is that? Mesoderm, in between the ectoderm and endoderm, are called triploblastic animals, and this is present in Platyhelminthes, or we can say that from the Platyhelminthes to chordates, triploblastic germ layer is present. Okay. Now the next is the coelom. Coelom, or body cavity. A body cavity means any internal space present inside the body, whereas coelom is called what? True body cavity. Clear? Coelom is called a true body cavity, and it refers to a large fluid filled space lying between the outer body wall and the inner gut wall. Now, on the basis of absence or presence of coelom in the body, animals are classified into three forms. First is eucoelomate, second is pseudocoelomate, and third is acoelomate. So let's discuss about the eucoelomate. It is also called true coelom. Clear? In this case, the mesoderm of the embryo provides a cellular lining called coelomic epithelium or peritoneum. So remember this peritoneum word. Clear? What is peritoneum? Yes, the mesoderm of the embryo provides a cellular lining, and that cellular lining is called the peritoneum. Means this in the formation of peritoneum, which germ layer helps? Mesoderm. Clear? The coelom is filled with the coelomic fluid secreted by peritoneum, and true coelom is found in which phylum? Annelids, echinoderms, and chordates. Again, true coelom is of two types: schizocoelom and enterocoelom. Schizocoelom develops by splitting up of mesoderm. It is found in annelids, arthropods, and mollusks. Clear? Body cavity, this is very important. Body cavity of arthropods and non-cephalopods mollusks is called hemocoel. Clear? What is hemocoel? The body cavity of arthropods and non-cephalopods mollusks. So this hemocoel term is used only with the arthropods and non-cephalopods mollusks. Now next is enterocoelom. In this, the mesoderm arises from the wall of embryonic gut. Embryonic gut is also called enteron. So don't get confused that these are two different things. No, embryonic gut also called as enteron, and they are what? Hollow outgrowths. Clear? These hollow outgrowths also called as what? Enterocoelomic pouches. Clear? So the mesoderm arises from the wall of embryonic gut or enteron as hollow outgrowths or intercoelomic pouches, and it is found in echinoderms and chordates. Now the next is pseudocoelomates. In some animals the body cavity is present, but it is not completely lined by the mesoderm. Instead, the mesoderm is present as scattered pouches in between the ectoderm and endoderm, and such type of body cavity is called as what? Pseudocoelom. Pseudo means what? False. it seems that body cavity is there, but actually that is not the body cavity, because that is not formed by the mesoderm. Clear? Mesoderm is not very clearly developed there, and this is present in Asclepianthus. Now, third is a coelomate. Those animals in which true body cavity or coelom is what? Absent. Yes, absent. They are called as coelomates, and these are found in which group of animals? Means which phylum? Sponges, coelentrates, ctenophores, and platyhelminthes. Clear? And you know, these are the examples. Just now we have discussed that these are the examples of diploblastic, and in diploblastic mesoderm is absent. So if mesoderm is absent, how can the coelom form? So mesoderm absent means what? Coelom is absent, and so it is called as acoelomate, and it is present in the coelentrates, ctenophores. Clear? Now, the next is segmentation. Segmentation is divided as the division of body into segments. In some animals, the body is externally and internally divided into segments, and these body segments have a serial repetition of at least some organs. This kind of segmentation is in which there is a linear series of body segments fundamentally similar to one another in structure is called metameric segmentation, and this phenomenon is known as what? Metamerism. The body segments are called metamers. Segmentation is seen in which phylum? Annelids, arthropods, and chordates. Clear? Now, the last characteristics, what is that? Notochord. Notochord is an elongated rod-like flexible structure formed during the embryonic development in some animals. It is composed of the cells derived from the mesoderm. Notochord is formed on dorsal or upper side of the body. Dorsal surface means upper surface. Clear? Always remember, dorsal means upper surface and ventral means lower surface. Okay? It serves as an internal skeleton. Internal skeleton means what? Endoskeleton. Clear? Internal skeleton means endoskeleton and provides support to the body. It is not present in all animals. Animals with notochord are called what? Chordates. And those animals which do not form this structure are called non-chordates. So from Porifera to Echinodermata, they are what? Non-chordates, or we can say they are invertebrates also. Clear? Hence, all chordates possesses this mesodermally derived notochord during their embryonic life as the main axial support of the body. However, in some chordates, notochord is replaced by the vertebral column, and these chordates are called vertebrates. And in which notochord is not replaced by the vertebral column, then they are called as what? Invertebrates. Clear? Now, the important thing that I am going to discuss first is stomochord. Stomochord is what? It is a flexible hollow tube found in hemichordates. Clear? And the second is notochord versus nerve cord. Always the students get confused regarding notochord and nerve cord. So notochord should not be confused with the nerve cord. Notochord is a supporting structure, part of the internal skeleton, whereas nerve cord is a part of what? Nervous system. Clear? This is the first difference. Notochord is found only in chordates, whereas nerve cord is found in chordates also and non-chordates also, because non-chordates also have the nervous system. So, nerve cord is present in chordates as well as non-chordates. This is the second difference between the notochord and nerve cord. And third, notochord is formed on the dorsal side in chordates, while nerve cord is ventral in non-chordates and dorsal in chordates. This is the third difference between the notochord and nerve cord. Now, the next is the question. Question number 1. In coelentrates, which germ layer is not present? In coelentrates, which germ layer is not present? And the answer is mesoderm. Yes. Now, which kind of symmetry is present in sea anemone? And the answer is radial symmetry. Now, question number 3. Which kind of symmetry is present in butterfly? And the answer is bilateral symmetry. Question number 4. In Platyhelminthes, which kind of digestive system is present? Incomplete digestive system. The answer is what? Incomplete digestive system. Question number 5. Cephalization process first time present in which phylum? And the phylum is Platyhelminthes. Clear? Means the answer is Platyhelminthes. Now, question number 6. Name the body symmetry that includes an interior and posterior end. Once again, name the body symmetry that includes an anterior and posterior end. And the answer is bilateral symmetry. Now, question number 7. Name the phylum which includes radially symmetrical triploblastic animals. Clear? Triploblastic, radially symmetrical also and triploblastic also. So the answer is coelentrates. That's enough for today. All the best for your preparation and have a nice time. Thank you.